I am Sylvia Gordon, happy AEP.
And I'm Rebecca Gordon with our good friend Lizzo. On this episode, stay tuned. We're going to give you the #1 tip to save you and your client from this crazy show, this AEP.
Okay, there's a problem that we want you to avoid during AEP. You're going to beep out the bad part here.
You told me to say that never going to beep it out.
Okay, we're going to do it. Okay.
All right, let's get started.
Okay.
Can I first just do this? I'm in love with Lizzo, so if you don't know who I'm talking about, seriously go to YouTube.
All the teenage girls are in love with Lizzo. So
She's
all
awesome.
the middle-aged guys that watch our show probably don't know.
Go to YouTube and Google
Go to
Lizzo.
YouTube. Okay, so let's talk about AEP. You guys are working hard. Thank you for taking
Thank you
a
for your
couple
business.
minutes to watch the show. And I would like to remind everybody, because everybody forgets, that Social Security completely screwed up last year. I think it was January, February, March. That they did not withdraw
Oh, yeah.
the premiums.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a small problem.
Yeah. Then they came back and they said, hey, just tell your clients to send us a check for that.
Right.
So then we told our clients and they go, no, this is a fraud. This is definitely a scam.
For sure.
Because it always comes out. I'm not going
Right.
to write a check.
Right.
And so they wouldn't do it. Then they got canceled.
That's right.
And we said, oh, no, they're not going to get canceled. But they got canceled. Then we're the agents spending all this labor trying to calm their clients down, trying to get them reinstated. It was a bleep this out show. Bleep, 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 bleep.
That's our new favorite word.
Yeah. So right now when you're writing new clients, don't be in such a hurry to take the easy way out and just check the box to have the premium taken out of Social Security, because you might find yourself in that mess again. And those of you that have been in the trenches a long time, like me, showing my age, will remember back in like 2007 or 8 when Social Security didn't take it out for like 9 months. And there were people that got bills for $800 and $900 that were saying, I don't have the money. I thought you signed it up. I thought you said it was going to come out. Now I'm supposed to come up with the money? Yeah. So this wasn't as bad, but you would think we would learn from this.
Sounds like it was a bleep show back then.
A bleep bleep. Yeah. So don't do Social Security. Have it taken out of their checking account.
Have it taken out of their checking account.
Okay? Please remember. The other thing I want to remind you guys is that you can get a Cigna Part D application. I had some people write some Cigna Part D applications this week, but you won't get paid. Cigna Part D does not pay agents.
That's a problem.
So
Don't do it.
if you're cool with working for free,
Right.
I would take my hat off to you, but my hair doesn't look good. But
This side
I
looks
will
good.
do a virtual take my hat off to you that you want to work for free. But I would say there are plenty of suitable options where
Right.
you can get paid for your work.
Yeah.
We don't get paid that much for Part D anyway. Get paid.
Yeah.
Now, Express Scripts doesn't use agents at all, so you won't get your hand on that app, and that won't be, but you'll see it on the quoter, and you'll be like, oh yeah, the best plan for you is Express Scripts. Then when you can't figure out where the app is because they don't use agents.
Nice. I want to talk about all these cool prescription cards that you see at the grocery store, at the pharmacist. We get asked a lot, is this a scam? Do these work? Yeah, they work really, really well.
Want to do some close-ups?
Oh, let's do some close-ups.
Good RX.
All right.
RX Saver.
Yeah, these work great. Just read the fine print on this. What you want to do is go to the site and see what prescriptions would cost, and also about working in conjunction with what you currently have. But these are great. You definitely want to encourage your clients to use these.
Well, you need to have this in your portfolio when you're out in clients' homes, because you're going to run into drugs that are not on anyone's formulary, and your client's looking at you for the answer. Okay, nobody covers it. Now what?
Now what?
And you're going to have to tell them this is an option,
This is a
or
great
go
option.
directly to the drug maker and to their pharmaceutical assistant
Right.
program.
Yeah, so these are great.
And a good agent already knows a lot of this stuff, but we forget that there's a lot of people watching these videos that are brand new. And they're clawing their way every day trying to figure this stuff out.
Or people forget about, maybe they never had it in their portfolio. Like they only showed it once and they didn't think, oh, I should have this and show it for every appointment.
Everybody should have this. This is something more and more you're running into people that have a drug that nobody
You
covers.
just got to have options.
And then the first thing they say is, well, can you get this drug covered? And you're really likely to say, sure, we'll just file an appeal.
Right.
Which, if it's not on anybody's formulary,
It's not going to happen.
there's a chance
Yeah.
you're not going to get that on
Right.
appeal.
Hello, my name is Edgar Wagner. I'm here with longtime Medicare agent Jay Cox. Thank you for being here, Jay. He's here to help us understand sales events and also to give us warning about how to run a sales event with some dirty tricks that happened to him, or something you might call underhanded. I know he had a long relationship with a local college, and you offered to host sales seminars for a large national Medicare Advantage carrier at the college. Jay, what went wrong?
Well, Edgar, in planning for my Medicare annual enrollment period, I put several different ideas together, one of which was doing some programs at a local community college. And I went to one of the carriers I'd worked with in the past and said, I can book the community college. You know, I've worked with them a long time. I've got good relationship. They let me do these types of events. I know you have a plan on being able to bring people to your meetings. So how about I arrange for the meetings, you do the publicity, I'll do the presentations, make the sales, and we'll all live happily ever after. Well, what happened was the company did do the marketing all right. They did it in several ways. They mailed out letters, and they also did inserts in the Sunday newspaper, advertising both my event as well as others. So about a week before the event, I said to this company, "Say, are you getting responses for the program?" They said, "Oh yeah, we're having people get in touch with us and asking about attending." And I said, "Well, great. Give me the names and numbers. I'll call them up beforehand just to introduce myself, make sure they know where they're going, see if they have any questions that they want me to talk about." And the company said, "Oh, no, we can't do that. Those leads that come in, they belong to us and we can't give them to you." I didn't think too much of that. I said, "All right, be that way. If you want to have an event where people aren't reminded to come, it's your event." So the time came, I did 2 community colleges, 2 different locations, and when I put on my programs, I always do 2 a day, one in the morning at 10 a.m. and one in the afternoon at 2 p.m., just for the customer's convenience so they can have one that best suits their schedule. The first event came, and I had absolutely terrible attendance. I had like 2 people come in the morning and 1 person come in the afternoon. And then I did the second event, and same thing, terrible attendance. But then one of the people who was there happened to say to me, she said, when I called in to make the reservation, instead of just taking my reservation, I got somebody on the phone, and he was very pushy. He tried to talk me into buying the program right then and there. And I said, "No, I don't know anything about this. I want to come to the event. I just want to make a reservation." And then he was very rude about taking it. I said, "Oh, really?" And I turned to the other couple that was there, and I said, "What was your experience?" And they said, "Yeah, the same thing. We called in, said we want to make a reservation. Somebody tried to force us into buying over the telephone and was rude to us when we wouldn't and just booked this event." So, this gets the wheels spinning in my mind. I'm thinking, well, heaven only knows how many other people might have called in to make a reservation and got the same treatment and got so mad at being treated that way they didn't come at all. And furthermore, these folks have no rights trying to steal my lead because, yes, they did do the marketing, but it was based upon the fact that I arranged to have the use of the facilities. It's my good relationship with the community college that they let me come in and do this. In the end, nothing really came of it other than I had very, very poor attendance, and I so far haven't gotten any sales out of it. I've still got a couple of the people that did come in I'm trying to establish a selling relationship with. But I guess the moral of the story, Edgar, is you need to control the leads. You need to anticipate that if something can go wrong, it will. What could possibly go wrong? Well, if you can't have access to the names of who's coming to your event, it's a problem. Because I did an event similar to this with another carrier where they paid for me to send out postcards inviting people to call a number on there and make a reservation, and then when the reservations were made, they were emailed to me. And I had great attendance of those programs. I got the names in advance so I could talk to the people in advance.
What kind of attendance?
Between the 2 programs, about 40 at each one.
Really?
Yeah.
Big difference.
Between the morning and the afternoon, so that's 2 programs, so that's about 80 people. But that's because The responses came back to me. I could call people and warm them up before they got there and have the ability to follow up on them because I had control of the responses. So all I'm saying, if you want to take a lesson out of this, is don't get yourself into a situation where you don't have quote-unquote control of the responses so that you can welcome to
Start
the
creating the
event and
relationship. Start creating the
advance
relationship, yeah.
and create the
Yeah.
relationship. So that's the experience I had, and as I informed this company, even though I've sold a lot of products from the past, I said, you know, I'll keep recertifying with you just to keep the clients I have on the books, but I am not ever writing another case for you again. And that's the end of the story.
Jay, thank you very much. I hope all of you have got something out of this today.
Right.
So I want to talk about what happens during AEP. The big question is, with all these ads, with their bombardment of TV, print media,
I love them.
is everybody changing their plan? Does everybody move during AEP? We've trained them that they can change every AEP, but how many people actually change plans?
I bet it's a very low number.
And it is actually,
Holy cow, 5.5 to 6%.
it's a little bit higher if they've only had their plan a year. But the people that have had their plan a couple years, they might kick the tires, but most people don't move. Okay? So they do a lot of shopping and they call, but they're happy
They're used to it.
and they don't want to mess with it. 'Cause
Right. A new
there
system.
there are some different benefits, but $20 for a doctor versus 30, it's not worth moving. Most people don't move.
Well, what happens if the client dies?
So this number includes terminations that are voluntary, people that want to move, and people that die. So that's all in that number.
Oh, so that's everybody. Okay.
Pretty cool.
That is very cool.
So that's good for you that are trying to build up your renewal base to know that most people aren't moving.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's all we got today.
The only other thing I want to bring up is that, like you said, Leslie called in from Florida. And she said, that was Erin.
I'm like,
Okay, somebody.
I'm looking deep into her
somebody
eyes.
else,
Like,
not her.
I don't remember this.
Erin just
Okay.
told me, Leslie just called in from Florida, and she said,
Great.
oh my God. She said, there's so much competition because there's so many TV ads, so many radio
Yeah.
ads, billboards, print media. She's like, I don't know, if I can make it. I'm like, whatever. The typical consumer still wants to be belly to belly.
Absolutely.
They still feel more comfortable. They're older consumer that is used to sitting across the kitchen table with somebody. Sure, there's tons of call centers. And I was at Meyer getting my shingles shot, which I've talked about on this show for about a year. Finally got it.
How are you feeling?
Okay, so the reason I didn't get it is because, thank you, Jay and Elaine, that said a lot of people that get the shingles shot get like a low-grade fever and body
Right.
aches for 2 or 3 days. They kind of feel like they have the flu. So I didn't have a good 3-day period to have the flu in the last year. So I finally had a window where I wasn't training, I wasn't going to a seminar, and I got my shot and I felt fine. So my
There you
arm
go.
hurts. Got to get a second
Does it
dose.
hurt?
Got to get a second dose in 2 to 6 months. But if you are 50 or older and you're an agent out there like me and you have not gotten your shot, I am telling you, in a motherly role, sisterly role, a naggy wife role,
Naggy.
get your shot. Because everybody that's had shingles has told me it's one of the most excruciating things they've ever lived through.
Yeah, I've
And
heard
they-
very bad stories.
And they would love to go back in time and get the shot and avoid shingles.
Because once you get shingles, it's in your system.
And it could be a permanent nerve damage
Yeah.
that you have permanent pain. Okay, so just
Okay.
the last thing I want to say is to address Leslie's question, there's plenty of business out there, people.
Oh, God, yeah.
There's more call centers, there's more whatever. There are 70 million people eligible for Medicare. We can't possibly get to all of them.
Right.
Okay? So don't despair that it looks like there's more competition everywhere. I was a little bummed when I go to Meyer and there's a pad there. Health Plan 1 is a call center. They partnered with Meyer. So like if you want to check your Medicare plans, call this number, which is a call center. It's a FMO we compete with called Health Plan 1. So everybody's getting a deal, but there's plenty of people. There's plenty of business for us to all make a good living helping seniors because the senior population hasn't crested yet. We always talk about it's 10,000 a day. Really, it's more like 11,000 a day that are turning 65. And I think by 2021, it's supposed to be 13,000 a day. So happy selling. Stay
Happy
positive.
selling. Thank you for your
Thank you.
business. See ya.